Hello, how you all guys doing today? Roger Malone, Anderson University, English 102, Professor Murray. And basically what this is this is going to be a Group 1 proposal, myself, Marcus O'Shields, and Keith Kirshner, on texting while driving. This proposal that we chose that we want to do. Interesting fact here, the law actually during this project legislation was actually passed in South Carolina on texting while driving. So that was fairly interesting. But my two sections were the opposition to it and ways to curb texting while driving. And one thing we talk about when we look at the opposition here, a couple things that should jump out at you is the enforcement of it. I mean, how, in law enforcement's eyes, how would you enforce texting while driving? The only way to enforce texting while driving would be to physically see the person driving down the road with the phone, up in the view of the public or enforcement officials, and that's very rare. I mean, we don't see that. Most people are here, maybe to the side, which poses a greater risk. I mean, if you pass laws, which South Carolina has, now people are going to be more cognizant of, oh, there's law enforcement. Let me drop the phone here, be over here or here, and they're causing a greater risk for a traffic crash, a traffic injury. So, enforcement. This is just hard to enforce. Number two, I mean, constitutional rights. So you're telling me I can't text while driving? Well, what about the individuals that drive down the road and they eat while they're driving, or they change the radio station while they're driving, or they put makeup on while they're driving, or I've seen individuals myself even change clothes while they're driving. I mean, do we need to create legislation and law for everything? I just think the opposition here is clear. I mean, you can't enforce that. It's just very, very, very difficult, if not almost impossible, to enforce. Matter of fact, one officer in Pooler, Georgia, been on the force 7 years. They asked him, how do you enforce that? He said in his 7 years law enforcement experience, he's never seen an individual texting while driving. He said he stopped one girl that admittedly said yes, she was texting while driving and wasn't paying attention. So that's just a prime example. It's very hard to enforce. I mean, everybody has smartphones. Everybody has smartphones today. So, I guess something outside of the box here, maybe Bluetooth. I mean, that's a possibility. But even with Bluetooth, it's just conversation on the telephones. As far as automobile crashes throughout other states, California, Minnesota, Louisiana, and Washington all have texting while driving laws. And in Minnesota, accidents actually increased 9% after the texting ban went into effect. So it's a sort of a reverse psychology thing here. Like I said earlier, people now know that it's illegal, so they're here or here or here, and they're taking more focus off of actual driving. So I mean, that's plain opposition. I think for my portion here, we do not need these laws. Do not need these laws in South Carolina or in any other state. Even here in Tennessee, where I'm at now, it's illegal to text and drive. And on the other section here is curbing it. How do we curb it? Technically, I feel like that a majority of the younger teens are probably texting while driving. You always see your teenagers on the phone. Some adults, but some type of counseling or something like that possibly. Let's counsel. Let's give the younger generation coming up, teach them, hey, if you're texting on the phone, pull over. You know, just mere counseling. And also technology through your major carriers, Sprint, Verizon, AT&T, some kind of a software where that once you're inside of a vehicle, you know, maybe there's some type of device that can be put on your vehicle, and once you're in the vehicle, you have no cell phone reception. Only emergency 911 call out. You know, and I think those are a couple of ways that you can actually curb texting while driving. And again, I know it's short and sweet, and 4 to 6 minutes wasn't a whole lot of time. I appreciate your patience. I appreciate your attention. And again, Roger Malone, English 102, Anderson University, Miss Murray, texting while driving. Thank you.